everybody? This is Mike, this is Low Def Media, and this is the final video of the year. Yes, 2025 is coming to a close, and so I thought it would be a good idea to sit down with the first camera that I bought for content creation, my Canon DSLR, the Rebel T7i, and a lavalier microphone instead of a wireless one, and just sit back and kind of give some thoughts as to because this channel is dedicated to content creation and the gear that goes along with it. And so as I look back on the past year, we've already done a video that talked about my personal successes, achievements, and what I want to do in 2026. But this is more about the industry as a whole, content creation, cameras, and the gear. And so not a long video, but I do want to hit 3 different topics. First is going to be cameras. Second is going to be the influencers that pitch the products. And then lastly, we're going to talk about microphones for a little bit because I got some thoughts on that too. So let's start with cameras. Now this camera here, and this is why I'm using this one. This is a DSLR. Now this is easily 7 years old. Again, I bought this way back before mirrorless cameras were probably prevalent, before they were popular, even released. And so this was, at the time, probably one of the higher end, mid-range, prosumer type cameras that you could get. Flip out screen, video and photography, microphone port, and shot 1080p. All right, so good camera for content creation at the time. Well, now fast forward, and if you were to, and I'm looking around, and I could put my hand on it, but I don't want to have to get up. I've got my Sony a6700 mirrorless camera, considered to be one of the, I've heard them say this is the best hybrid camera in the mid-range market because it's so good with photography, so good with videography. And so it's a real nice blend of the two, small body style, great lens options, and just a lot of very good specs. Not great, not like the the A1, A2, but really good specs. Okay, so if you compare those, you would, on paper, you would see a night and day difference. However, when it comes to this kind of application, I would say they probably look very similar. When you're in a room like this, a controlled environment, man, I can make this thing look as good or as bad as I wanted to. Same thing with the a6700. I could use that. It could look great, but then I miss 1 or 2 things, and it's happened to me before. I put that thing on the same tripod, same room, and it misses focus. Or it searches, it hunts, white balance goes in and out. And so it can have a dramatic effect on what you're recording, even though it is considered to be a great camera for this kind of videography. So the problem I have with cameras now is that we've got all these cameras that have all these great advancements and that have all these great specs, but really, when you boil it down, they all do the same thing. And so you've got cameras that have different price points, different features. Content creators and influencers will go crazy about some cameras and bash others. For example, and I'll throw this out there. It's right here, it is. Influencers really did not like this camera. This is, oh, let me turn it around. This is the Canon V10. I bought this camera because of this right here. It's form factor. It shoots 4K. It's got a flip up screen. It's got an audio out. This is a fantastic pocketable camera for when you're traveling or when you're out and about. But the influencers didn't like it because, oh, the stabilization is bad. Oh, this is bad. This camera is as good as my iPhone. It doesn't have a zoom, but the quality is just as good. And so what I found is that influencers will try to manipulate you, and that's kind of like my second topic, is how we're pitched cameras. Because this camera here, I could not walk into a store and put my hands on it and look at it. I had to rely on influencers to provide that information. And there are a slew of content creators who are saying the same thing I'm saying now. The A6700, same thing. Now I could go to Best Buy, but half of those demo models are broken, or they don't power up, and so you really can't get a good feel for the camera when you're in a Best Buy, because they've just been manhandled, and so they're basically unusable. And so you end up just, you know, kind of throwing caution into the wind and saying, well, I've seen so many videos, I'm going to try this one. And so we have to rely on what the influencers are telling us, because they're the ones who have access to the cameras. But are they totally honest? And that's the question. Now, a lot of these non-sponsored content creators are coming out and saying, well, while they may not be dishonest, they're not being 100% honest. Because, for example, this camera. Now, I love this camera. This is my this is my Sony ZV-1F. Now, a lot of content creators and influencers didn't like this because it's got the fixed lens. It's a digital stabilization. You can't do anything about adding lenses to it. A lot of them didn't like it. I think it's great for when you're traveling. Again, it's pocketable. It's about the same size. I mean, when you look at it this way, very similar to the Canon V10. It's a little bit thicker, but they both are very similar in that they have a fixed lens, and they're about the same focal width. And I think the Canon has a 2.8 aperture, and I think this one is a 2.0, pretty sure. Very similar. And so they didn't like, a lot of content creators didn't like this one just because it was basic and the IBIS was pretty bad, and they didn't like the way it focused. But if you're looking for a pocketable camera that's got a good price point, it's a great camera, and it depends on what you're going to do with it, but they just kind of let it go. They dismissed it. Love this camera. It's great, especially in an environment like this. If you're starting out your content creation, this is a great place to start. But we rely on them to tell us, and if it doesn't fit into their professional kit of what they're going to use it for, well, then they dismiss it. But you're no longer getting the opinion of someone who is a new and maybe starting out content creator, or someone with under 1,000 subs who can't afford to use the cameras they're using. Because while they're telling us about this camera, guess what? They're filming it on a, let's say, a Sony a7S III that's $3,500. And that's what they use when they go out. So of course, they're not going to use this camera. And so the problem I have with the industry right now is, one, the cameras. They have all these specs that are wildly excessive. I look at some of the cameras now and they're 6K, they're open gate, so much data. I don't have a computer that can process that data. And I would challenge you, if you have a computer that can process a 4K 120 file, you know, slow motion, or a 6K file, let me know, because I don't. I had to buy a Mac Mini M1 just so I could process 4K video, because my laptop, which is a MacBook Pro, older, doesn't have the M1 chip or higher. Could not process it. It would just get so hot, the fan was working all the time, so I had to get this just to process 4K video. And I've seen a number of content creators say the same thing, that they just don't have the computing power for these files. Now you can do proxy files and all that, but look, that gets into territory that, and you know, color grading, don't get me started on color grading. That's stuff that right now, as a fledgling content creator, I just don't have the time for it, don't have the bandwidth for it. So we've talked about the cameras. We've talked about the influencers and how they try to pitch us the cameras. So let's talk about microphones, because it kind of falls into the same territory. This is a lavalier mic. Costs, I mean, next to nothing. I mean, this is very inexpensive, but very reliable. Great quality. Now, of course, I can't go running away because I'm tethered, but it's great quality. And I've got a number of, well, here's one. This is my Rode Video Go microphone. Had this for a very long time. Very good, dependable microphone. But again, you place it on top of your camera, so it restricts how much it's going to pick up. Very reliable though. And I've got a number of wireless microphones. And the thing I want to mention is that all these microphones, they sound very similar. And so different price points, different form factors, but at the end of the day, they're all pretty much the same. And so I fell victim to a lot of the hype over some of the Hollyland microphones. And there's a small rig microphone set that I bought. But really all I needed was the Saramonic one that I had purchased a while ago. And the microphone is about the size, a little bit bigger. I also fell victim to this one. This is the DJI Mic 2. And so this is a great mic. I didn't buy the receiver for it, just the transmitter, because I have a DJI Osmo Action 4 that it can connect to, and it connects to my iPhone. And so I've got this. And the Saramonic's a similar form factor, not quite this small, but very similar. Sounds exactly the same and way less expensive. And that's why I bought it. So I say all that to say this. There are plenty of alternatives out there when it comes to microphones. And they're coming out every 3, 4, 5 months. These name brand companies are coming out with smaller and smaller microphones. And while it is enticing, and they will make it sound like you have to have them, you don't. Okay, they're great microphones, not taking anything away from them, but the smaller they get, the more cumbersome they are to use, because now you're faffing around with a microphone and trying to put a wind muff on it, and it's like this big, or you're trying to find it when you place it somewhere. And so it just gets to the point where you're not getting enough return on your investment. Again, great microphones, probably pair very easily, but I don't need to be spending, nor do any of us need to be spending all this extra money. When you buy one set, it works, and you just use it. So my challenge to myself this next year, if you watch my previous video, no new gear, using what I got, challenge you to do the same. And if you are frustrated with the way products are being presented by influencers, hey, let me know down in the comments. Love to hear your feedback on that. And if you like talking about cameras and content creation and all the gear that goes along with it, well then, hey, become a subscriber, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when the next video comes out. And if you like using your old equipment to make your videos, like a DSLR, hey, let me know that down in the comments too, because always enjoy hearing from you and getting some insight as to how you make your videos, what you like, what you don't like. But hey, that's just my small little rant for today. This is Mike, this is Low Def Media, wishing you a happy new year, and we'll see you in the next one.